So, a quick confession, my wife actually said that if you're going to be doing all these dark and racist herb name lists, if you've seen those videos and know what I'm talking about, that you should do one that was awesome herb names, which is a bit tough when it comes down to it because it's kind of subjective. And it's also not as easy as you think because the ones that get a lot of press are the ones that have the rude and crude herb names. And yes, some are inventive, but others are just kind of base and sad, in my opinion. So we're not going to be talking about any of those today. Sorry, sex herb name lovers. Not happening. Instead, I'm going to talk more in depth about daylilies. There are so many daylilies that are named after famous artisans and songs that I'm actually surprised when a cool song or artisan doesn't have a daylily named after them. And that is just part of the fun of having so many unique daylily names. And to name just a couple is supremely hard because there are so many homages, unique names. Oh my God, what's going on with my voice? Hello, homage. Hi. And there are so many homages and unique and funny names that it's actually staggering. The truth is, there are over 100,000 names. Yeah, for daylily varietals on the National Gardening Plant Database. And this quick little fun list is just obviously a sampling of how many cool names there are out there for daylilies. And these mad, funny, and cool species names can also be found in a variety of mainstream plants like roses, daffodils, regular lilies, dahlias, and more. And I could just list cool name after cool name, but that would get kind of boring for you, I'm sure, and for me too. So like I said, I'm going to go into some specific plant names that have some really cool stories around them, starting with the monkey puzzle tree. This distinctive name doesn't actually come from the plant's home in Chile, where it's called a puin tree, or something like that if I'm messing up my Spanish. In Chile, this tree was so closely linked to the indigenous peoples that one tribe actually was named after it and had their diet structured around the seeds from this tree. The tree is so sacred that it's considered disrespectful to speak while you're underneath it, which is something that modern people sure haven't cared about because it's now an endangered species thanks to deforestation. The monkey puzzle tree loves the volcanic soil of the Andes Mountains, which is not a problem for this tree as its thick bark and scales are very resistant to heat. Alright, that's cool, but how did it actually get the name monkey puzzle tree? The lore around this says it's thanks to Sir William Molesworth, there's a name for you, who had one of the first transplanted specimens in Pencarrow Garden in Cornwall, England. The story goes that while a friend was visiting Sir William, he commented that it would puzzle a monkey to climb that tree, and this initially gave it the name the monkey puzzler tree. And then it was basically just over time and variations that the name monkey puzzler stuck instead. And through the ages, the tree was bequeathed with a strange folkloric power. People believed that passing too close to a monkey puzzle tree would cause you to grow a monkey's tail. Historians believe this was actually a scare tactic to help keep kids from climbing the monkey puzzle trees. There is also another belief that if you plant a monkey puzzle tree next to a graveyard, it will prevent the devil from entering during a burial. Though this was contradicted as another group of people actually believed that the devil lived inside the monkey puzzle tree. Perhaps most startling though is how the monkey puzzle tree has been around for almost 200 million years. Yeah, around the same time that dinosaurs still roamed the earth. And its spine-like needles acted as protection from ancient grazing animals. And therefore, ironically, the monkey puzzle tree actually predates monkeys by about 60 million years. And yeah, monkeys most certainly don't live anywhere near the high altitude of this tree's natural habitat. Oh my God, this list is just so fulfilling to my book and movie nerd heart. So yeah, lots of people have named plants after famous characters from books and movies. There's the Sherlock Holmes plant, one named after Smaug the Dragon from The Hobbit, Aragog from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and even one named for Sesame Street's Oscar the Grouch. There's also a really fun varietal of plants that's named after Star Wars and many of its characters. The reverse is also true, as the name Padma from the prequels is Sanskrit for lotus flower. But the ones you really want to hear about are the begonias, specifically begonia, wait for it, Darth Vader Rihanna. Actually sounds like a combo between Darth Vader and Rihanna, the singer. This begonia species wasn't discovered until late 2013 by Taiwanese researchers in West Kalimantan, Borneo. Now what makes the Darth Vader begonia so unique is that besides its striking dark color, which is where it gets its name, it's actually very easy to kill, unlike its namesake. The plant was discovered in a very specialized locale, 140 meters above sea level, with lots of vegetation and heavily shaded by cliffs. Also, this plant only grows in 90 to 100% humidity. So if you want to grow the Darth Vader begonia independently, you need a controlled environment, like a terrarium or greenhouse that can maintain this high humidity. Another unique aspect of this begonia is that smugglers decided that they could make a pretty penny off of it. Bootleg clippings of the species started showing up online at over $80 per plant in 2014, making it about the most expensive begonia on the market. Now, if you remember earlier, I actually did mention multiple begonias, as the same Taiwanese researchers found another begonia that they named after Princess Padme Amidala. Unfortunately, much like the monkey puzzle tree, there's now a very pressing danger in the rainforest of Borneo. As plant smugglers and a growing human population put more and more pressure on the rainforests, it means that a lot of these very unique plants that only grow in these habitats are getting put further down the endangered species list. It's very sad. But as we're talking about awesome herb names, we should move on to happier things, right? Fee, fi, fiddly-I-o, fiddly fig tree-I-o. Ficus lyrata has gone by many cool names, thanks mainly to the shape of its leaves. And oddly, we have Pinterest to thank for the rise of this amazing plant. After the launch of Pinterest in 2010, people began spreading snapshots of this very photogenic plant. And from there, it went crazy. You could find it in IKEA, in tons of magazines, TV commercials, and movies. The one place you wouldn't find it? Mad Men. You see, the filmmakers were very meticulous about having everything in the series stay very true to the 1960s, even its houseplants. So you won't find a sign of this plant, which didn't become popular in the mainstream, like we said, until 2010, anywhere near Mad Men. And while it's a popular houseplant, the fiddly fig tree can be quite moody. Some gardeners have likened it to a newborn baby in its need for attention. And while it can handle being in a low light area, if you don't treat it right, it can die pretty quickly. While it's very trendy and popular now, this tree actually has a very dark past. In the West African coast where it originates, you'll find it growing atop other trees.
Best friends forever!
As its roots grow, it slowly begins to strangle and kill its host plant. Talk about an unwanted house guest. That brings us to our next plant, which I find really interesting because there's a mystery around it where no one can really say for sure where the name actually comes from. Which is a shame because it's this weird and awesome name that I would really love to know the history of. If somehow you know the name history, please let me know in the comments. I want to know. And this isn't the only problem with turkey tangle frog fruit. It's not even supposed to be called frog fruit. Apparently, somewhere down the line, someone misconstrued fog fruit for frog fruit, which is odd in itself, as fog actually refers to an old description for moss. And yeah, there's actually no explanation for why this would also be called moss fruit as well. Guess what? The weirdness doesn't end there. As again, kind of mysteriously, people can't decide on what the proper biological name is for this plant, as it's been called by several different things. Just a weird, mysterious plant. Now, this next one I included on this list because every time I hear this name, I just think, man, there is a botanist out there who was so irritated by his mother-in-law that he named this plant after her in spite. I want to know who that mother-in-law is and what she did. It's too juicy. There's got to be a story out there about it. And in a way, it's a shame that it's gotten a lot of these negative monikers because the snake plant is actually a very powerhouse utility plant. You can use the leaves to make ropes, bowstrings, and even strings for various crafts. The snake plant is also an emergency food in the wild as it holds a lot of water, and you can eat the leaves, which have a variety of health benefits. Also, a research study by NASA found that snake plants are able to filter and draw pollutants from the air. The snake plant's also incredibly low maintenance. You'll find it on many top 10 lists out there for easiest to grow houseplants. Plus, these plants are also super hardy and so strong that if you forget to repot them when they need it, they'll break out of their pot by themselves. But yeah, it initially made this list because mother-in-law's tongue is just such a fun and interesting name. And I'm just going to stop there for today because like I said, there's thousands of different really fun plant and herb names out there. What are yours? Please let me know in the comments down below. I really want to know what your favorite names are. Please, take care. Be kind to each other, and enjoy the wonderful world of sometimes funny, sometimes weird plant names. And just, have a great day.